Hey guys, welcome to the 22 best digital business model types. In previous videos, you have seen how we are categorizing digital business models into 11 verticals. There's a good and rational methodology behind it. Check out those videos after this one if you like. It's all based on value creation. And within those, today we want to show the two most prevalent business model types, so as to give each one of them a bit of airtime. So e-commerce, we got two major types, one being linear and the other one being platform business models in e-commerce. Linear ones do, well, pretty much all of the heavy lifting themselves. They do have a website, etc., but they also do the logistics, the sourcing of the inventory, and warehousing, distribution, and everything. That is the standard Amazon. Yeah, revenue models are markup, delivery fees, subscriptions, and many other ones. We're showing always the revenue models, but we're always showing the one or two most important ones, but there's often another 5 or 10 or 20 involved. Then platforms make commissions, and they don't do any of the logistics or distribution. This is done by the merchant. And similarly, online travel, dining, events, and attractions. So these are aggregator websites like Booking.com or Expedia that make the search process easier for the demand side, being the customer, and they monetize on commissions on any intermediated sale. Then we have asset and service sharing. So firstly, we have asset and service sharing like Uber, which have an asset involved and a service component. So the driving itself is the service component, and we got the asset being the car, similar on Airbnb. Bike and e-scooter sharing, etc. That's a bit different. There's by and large only an asset component, and mostly it is monetized on commissions, but where there's just an asset, it is more a pay-per-use type thing. Then we have service platforms. These are always platforms, so they don't, it's just freelancers or contractors, well, typically freelancers on these. That includes Deliveroo, Upwork, etc. And the platform is making an intermediary and aggregator model. Then we got search and vertical search, so general search like Google, or in the, let's call a conversational Gen AI like ChatGPT and Gemini and Perplexity, etc. Typically, now these guys are the conversational Gen AIs seem to be wanting to monetize on subscriptions, but Google and others currently are advertising platforms. Note that I'm calling it an advertising platform. That is very, very, very different from an ad business and always being confused. Who does monetize more on advertising is vertical search, but they also monetize on subscriptions, like let's say real estate-based Zillow and AirDNA. They do monetize on the professional side of the users, being real estate agents, for example, or investment advisors in the case of AirDNA. Hotels.com are meta search engines, and they are monetizing on cost per action as well as banner ads, etc. Yeah, you've seen it. Hit the like button if you like it. Let's continue. Number 9 and 10 are digital communication. So we're thinking more like the kinds of Zoom and other platforms. There's also WhatsApp and FaceTime, simply because these are mostly, most user interactions and engagement is based on single-sided network effects as opposed to indirect network effects. Then we have social networks, which is often a mix of single-sided and cross-sided network effects, like Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn, etc. And they are all pretty much running an advertising platform, again, platform. Then content and media. We have linear content and media. That is the likes of everyone who creates their own content and often monetized based on subscriptions. We got Netflix as the most prominent one. Okay, Reuters are also running a lot of licensing for other newspapers, and Wikipedia donation-based. And then we got content and media platforms. These are monetizing interestingly. They also, some of them have an ad platform, but also monetizing on subscriptions. We have YouTube, Spotify. Kindle is a commission-based, e-commerce if you like. Then Edtech, number 13 and 14 of the digital business model types. So we have linear Edtech. That includes those, once again, whenever we talk about linear, that includes the creation, or if you want to call it the heavy lifting in the whole process, in the value creation process. So that includes Duolingo or Khan Academy, who create the content themselves. Blinkist, they're creating the shorts. They're not creating the books that the shorts are based on. And edtech platforms can be platforms like Coursera, who are aggregating courses, or it can be the instructor Canvas, which is a learning management system, or exciting Go One, who are an aggregator platform intermediary for other end customers, B2B, so to say. Then Fintech, we got the most used form of Fintech is payments based on commissions and service fees like PayPal, Fiserv. I've got in both of these because they got such a broad portfolio. And banking and investment, again, as in all of these verticals, there's more types, but these are the 22 best or currently most successful ones. And we got banking and investment like Robinhood, Coinbase, etc. Often working with commissions on trades, or Robinhood is payment for order flow. But they got 10 or 11 revenue models that we have covered in a different video. You can look it up. As mentioned, all of these guys have many business models if you wanted to look at more detail. Next one, digital health tech. So it is emerging. It's not as far progressed as other verticals, but very exciting. Telemedicine. So it's currently the biggest use case, I would say, in digital health tech. We're not talking about MRI scanners and whatever. We're talking about digital, right? So we got really exciting companies like Doximity and Conversa. We got the digital health management. There's a lot of emerging stuff around data and records management. There's stuff on benefits management emerging and health tracking, and the health tracking and the records management. One day probably or certainly will be linked together as well, but currently we've got all sorts of fitness or health condition trackers, and then we've got the whole schmozzle of the health records management, where you may have heard Oracle and others coming up with new exciting ideas in that space, and that's going to be a really fast growing space. Then software as a service, well, impossible to cover in just two sub-verticals, but productivity and small business, call it, for lack of better terms. Microsoft, Adobe, Shopify, Wix, Squarespace, and hundreds and thousands of others, CRMs and so on. But distinctly different from that are enterprise SaaS solutions like Workday, Concur, and the big hitters of SAP and Oracle. And like Salesforce, you could also put here, of course. And then the last but not least, and probably the most exciting and hard to get a grip on, vertical hardware and software tech platforms. So hardware is hardware. That's not a digital business model, but if it lives mainly from the big ecosystem that it creates, then for us it's also a digital platform, and certainly the iPhone with the App Store and everything that still can be seen as one, as can be the Meta smart glasses or the wearables and all sorts of more advanced console types if you wish, and many other things, IoT, etc., etc. The most prevalent monetization model is the premium sales, so the ecosystem-enabled hardware can be charged a lot higher than the sum of all the components inside plus 15% markup. No, the markup is much higher than if you have a premium ecosystem. And last but not least, software platforms. Again, these are platforms. That's the difference to SaaS. And again, we could list hundreds, from Android operating system to other operating system, app stores, and the broader Gen AI space. Not talking about search, but Gen AI is now literally in all of the other ones embedded. So that's it. These are the 22. Well, this is 21, 22. So if you like it, subscribe, like it, and we'll give you free content on an ongoing basis. Thanks very much, guys.